I die every night for 2 minutes and 11 seconds. By Reddit user, hello, hello, help, hello. When I was 13, I died. For 2 minutes and 11 seconds, my heartbeat stopped and my pulse was gone and I was dead. 1 second I was racing my bike along the sidewalk and made a turn to the left to shortcut across the road. The next, I stared up at a blank ceiling, wrapped in bandages, wires, and tubes, while some machine beat next to me in a steady rhythm. I had no recollection of what happened in between. It didn't take long for this little gap in my memory to be filled. My father still can't stop telling the story any chance he gets. He tells it during dinner, long car trips, and even TV commercial breaks. He tells it to friends and colleagues and strangers at the bus stop. Quote, "Remember that time you got hit by the car? We were in a panic when we got the call. They said that your heart stopped. You were dead, you know. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Guess that's his way of coping with a traumatic experience. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It did not take long for that number to start haunting me. Soon it came for me every night. The dream started a few months after the accident. My body was already on its way to complete recovery, and I had left the hospital bed behind and returned home. My left leg was still trapped in a cast, and the scars left on my torso would never fade, but that was it. It was around this time that I found myself waking up at night more and more often, sweating and shivering, a pain enveloping my chest. Soon I grew able to remember the nightmares that preceded these episodes, or rather the single one. It was the same exact dream every night, and still is to this day. The same visions, the same sounds, and it always lasts the exact same amount of time. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I know because, as it became a regular occurrence, I started counting. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. The rough asphalt of the road takes in half of my view. My body lies in an awkward angle on the coarse gray material. Glittering fragments of glass and small smears of red fluid are splattered around me. 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. People stand around me. Some shuffle for a better view. Others just stay frozen in place, their eyes wide open, and their trembling hands squeezed against their lips. A blue light flashes somewhere behind me, its presence vaguely visible even against the bright sunlight. 13 seconds, 14 seconds, 15 seconds. A deep pain ripples through me, cold and heavy, as if every bit of warmth slowly bleeds from my body. It radiates from my torso up into my neck, my head, and my limbs. I want to scream, but my lips refuse to move. They are slightly open and my tongue hangs out on the side. A thick fluid slowly drips from it to the ground. I want to move, but my muscles don't respond. I expect the scent of oil and blood to spread in my nose, but I smell nothing. I smell nothing because no air is entering my nostrils. No air enters my nostrils because I've stopped breathing. 28, 29, 30. Growling engines, distant sirens, voices. Contorted fragments of noise that make less and less sense. Hands touch me, squeeze against my neck and wrists. I can barely make out the sensation, but it's there. Careful at first, then more and more frantic. Shouts grow louder, more hands, more touches. Shadows fall over me as people draw closer. 55, 56, 57. Someone stabilizes my neck. Someone grabs a hold of my arm. Someone slightly lifts my legs. Someone carefully squeezes against my shoulder. With a gentle fluid motion, I am slowly flipped onto my back. The sun sends out its blinding rays. Fabric tears as the shirt is removed from my torso. 125, 126, 127. A man kneels over me, his bright orange vest stained in blood. He positions his hand against my chest and then presses down. My body twitches under the impact like a giant rag doll. Another pump, another, then a short pause. Then it starts again. Pump, 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 pause. Pump, 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 pause. 1 minute 59, 2 minutes, 2 minutes 1 second. Pump, 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 pause. It's hard to keep track of the time. The palms hit my chest with a steady rhythm, but that rhythm doesn't fully match the seconds ticking by. I feel like I'm burning, like there's a fire licking over my insides, like thousands of insects burrowing into my skin and starting to tear out my flesh. 2 minutes 6 seconds, 2 minutes 7 seconds, 2 minutes 8 seconds. Pump, 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 pause. I stare up at the blue sky, concentrate on the faint white cloud formation drifting past, try to focus on its contours and shades. Anything to keep my mind far away from the next second. Anything to divert my attention from the moment where the pain reaches its peak. 2 minutes 9 seconds. One of my ribs break under the pressure. I want to scream, need to scream. But my body is dead and my lungs are empty, and those hands keep grinding and pumping, unrelenting, driving the broken piece of bone deeper and deeper. 2 minutes 10 seconds. Something jolts in my chest. A first flutter of my heart muscle. Dots of light dance in front of my pupils. The sunlight disintegrates the remnants of the cloud overhead. Shouting voices twisting, roaring, spinning. 2 minutes 11 seconds. And I awake. Back in my bed. The pain is still there, throbbing and pumping, as if those hands were still hammering down on me. For the first few moments, it feels as if my heartbeat might go out again. Cold sweat coats my skin. My muscles tremble. Then the sensation fades. Every night, 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I've talked to the doctors about the reoccurring pain and had a few hospital checkups. There's nothing physically wrong with me. Nothing they can find, at least. I haven't told anyone about the dream, though. This is the first time I put the experience to words. Even telling strangers on the internet feels shameful and embarrassing. It's one thing to show off the parts of my back where my skin is still twisted and contoured, like some Viking showing off his old battle scars. It's another thing entirely to talk about waking up every night crying and sobbing. It's another thing to admit to secretly covering my mattress with newspaper sheets in case I lose control of my bladder again. But I have to talk about it. Something changed. It happened a few days ago. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. A woman, a bit older maybe, in her late 60s, thin and tall, dressed in painfully bright mismatching colors, sporting outdated flower patterns, walked along the sidewalk. She was slightly hunched over, carrying 2 black plastic bags in her hands. She was just another passerby. She was just some random old lady. And she was not supposed to be there. 3 seconds. 4 seconds. 5 seconds. I've lived through the dream thousands of times. Every little moment has always been the same. Every detail is burned into my mind. Unchanging, unwavering. Always the same. This woman was not supposed to be there. She had never been there before. 10, 11, 12. She stopped and looked over. 13, 14, 15. She stood there, staring. Then began to slowly walk towards the scene of the accident. Her bag swung back and forth in her hand. Some blackish fluid dripped from one of them with each step. 55, 56, 57. She stopped at the outer edge of the crowd, half hidden between the wall of people. The first responders grabbed me, as they always do, and gently flipped me onto my back. I couldn't see her anymore from this new position. The dream continued as it always had. The hand squeezed down on my chest, the cloud drifted across the sky, my rib broke and my heart fluttered to life and I woke up. Everything just as always, except for that woman. She should not have been there. The next night she was back. This time she stood in the center of the crowd from the very start. I could see how garish she looked. Her makeup had been painted thick over her aging face. White glittering powder covered her cheeks. Her lips were smeared with gleaming red lipstick to the point that they looked like wax replicas. Her eyes were encircled with dark violet rings of shade. The face beneath this grotesque mask of makeup was inhumanly still. No twitch of a muscle, no flare of a nostril. She didn't even seem to blink. She just stood there, staring down at me. Her pupils never shifted away. When I was flipped onto my back, she drifted closer, towering in the corner of my vision. The seconds ticked down. The pain grew worse. The palms hit my chest. Pump, 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 pause. Her body tensed in rhythm to the resuscitation. Her bony fingers tightened to shaking fists, then opened up again. Pump, 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 pause. 2 minutes 9 seconds. 2 minutes 10 seconds. 2 minutes 11 seconds. When I woke up, I half expected to see her still standing there, somewhere in the darkness of my room. Of course she was gone along with the rest of the dream. I was alone with my pain and my tears and my shame. She'd returned the night after. This time she stood even closer, as close as she was able to get. Other members of the crowd slightly leaned away from her, as if she was emitting a disgusting smell. She didn't react, didn't seem to register anything besides me, as if all these other people weren't even there in the first place. 55, 56, 57. The woman tried to step closer the moment I was turned onto my back. One of the first responders stepped into her path and pushed her back. Pump, 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 pause. Minute 33, a minute 34, a minute 35. The pain welled up and grew deeper, and the woman was still there. Her lengthy body twisting to the left and to the right. Her fingers twitching in rhythm to those palms squeezing down. Pump, 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 pause. Minute 49, minute 50, minute 51. The moment of the worst pain was quickly approaching. She tried to push closer once more, and was repelled a second time. 2 minutes 4, 2 minutes 6, 2 minutes 7. My eyes drifted to the clouds above. The worst pain was coming. Just 3 more seconds. 2 more seconds. Pump, 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 pause. 2 minutes 8 seconds. 2 minutes 9 seconds. Here it was. The hand would squeeze down and my rib would break and my body would go up in flames. 2 minutes 10. 2 minutes 11. The hand didn't return. My rib didn't break. My heart didn't start beating again. 2 minutes 12 seconds. 2 minutes 13 seconds. The open palm hovered just above my chest, about to push down. A wrinkly set of fingers gripped its wrist. The woman had managed to push into the circle of first responders and grabbed the man just as he was about to administer the last life-giving thrust. Nails bit into flesh. She tore him backwards. He screamed. 2 minutes 18 seconds. 2 minutes 19 seconds. Somebody else rushed to my side. Another set of hands found my chest, began to push frantically and struggled to find the right rhythm. 2 minutes 23 seconds. 2 minutes 24. Something inside me slipped further and further away. A gray shade drifted over the world. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. The woman was still there, trying to get to this new person too, but the others held her back. 2 minutes 26 seconds. The hands pressed against my chest, faster and faster, and the shouts grew louder. 2 minutes 27 seconds. Somebody else arrived. A second set of hands joining the first. 2 minutes 29 seconds. A rib broke and another, and they pumped. 2 minutes 30 seconds. I screamed. 2 minutes 31 seconds. 2 minutes 32 seconds. 2 minutes 33 seconds. And then I woke. My body twitched on the mattress, convulsing. I was frozen from the vicious cramps tearing their way through me. I tried to scream, but my jaw just inched open for a second, then bit down with all of its might. As the next cramp hit me, my tongue got caught between my teeth. The taste of blood spread. My stomach cramped and something pushed up my throat. With a desperate motion, I threw myself to the side. Somehow I gathered enough force to fling myself off the side of my bed. My forehead slammed against the edge of my night table. My vision blurred. I crashed to the ground, unable to dampen the fall in any way. At least I wouldn't suffocate on my own vomit in this new position. I lay there for minutes until the worst pain slowly receded. This was the last time I slept. Fear of what happened kept me awake through the next night. A pack of caffeine pills got me through the one after. Now I am reaching my limit. I feel myself slipping, feel myself drifting off. I won't be able to stay conscious for much longer. Dark, spidery dots crawl into the corner of my vision. My head feels like it's filled with cotton. My eyelids flutter close, and it's getting harder and harder to open them back up. Soon I will sleep. Soon I will dream. Soon I will die again, for 2 minutes and 11 seconds, or maybe forever.